All right, House of Payne fans, season 13, episode 6, the chicken or the egg. I gotta admit, I didn't go into this episode with high expectations. Expectations. Okay, that was corny. But this was really good. I actually missed out on doing a video on the sneak peek, which was Janine offering Lisa a spot at her job to kind of get work experience. And I knew for a fact that wasn't going to go well, but I was busy cleaning today. I'm actually taking a short break from, finishing up my office. Yes, I'm in here finally getting this place straight. But I knew this clip was going to go far once the episode aired, not to mention the extended synopsis talking about Jasmine. I'm like, dang it, if I only had time, because I knew Jasmine would be a key player in the storyline. Now, the egg storyline, it was better than I expected. I wanted more, though. I felt like we were going to get a good payoff, but we didn't. So I'm still giving this episode a solid 8 out of 10, simply because I could relate to Lisa's plight in the episode. So I'll talk about the egg stuff first, and then I'll talk about the Lisa work experience second. So essentially, Curtis comes over to CJ and Janine's to get some eggs due to the fact that Ella's baking, a caramel cake. She's doing two, actually. One for a woman at the help center, and she knows she needs to bake another cake due to Curtis, and his tendency to eat sweets. So, it's kind of a safety cake to make sure the cake she's baking for the woman doesn't get touched. However, due to an egg shortage, due to a potential flu from some birds, I think we all know what this is referencing, there's price gouging, with eggs being as high as $25 a carton for a dozen, which is wild. And man, this is I like the real world nod, because this kind of thing happened in real life, whether it be gas or, other food products, because it was kind of weird. But I feel like at the start of 2024, it seemed like either every week or every other day, there was a random recall on an item from the supermarket, which is wild, because if you look at grocery prices now, I can't even imagine if, let's say, if a specific brand of ham or something got recalled, then, the other brands might, increase their prices. It's just crazy. But, I did like the continuity nod when Curtis mentions the No Bueno cake. So that was pretty funny, because that was from 3 weeks ago. So from there, we go over to Floyd, who is actually wanting a cake of his own, because he's over there talking with Curtis, because, caramel cake, can you sign me up for one? See, Ella's going to the supermarket to get some eggs, but Curtis refuses to, allow her to spend the money. But she does say she has her own money, which leads to a weird continuity error later in the episode, because Floyd knows a guy who knows a guy about where to get some eggs. And essentially, this guy is a fan of their sauce, so maybe they can do a trade where it's like, hey, we'll trade them some of our barbecue sauce for some of these eggs, and, we can make some profit off of selling the eggs ourselves. And Curtis is down for the plan. However, Floyd changes it up, because instead of the eggs, he opts to get a bunch of hens. And on the one hand, good trade, but on another, well, you kind of need eggs outright, so why not just get the eggs up front? Maybe take a couple of the hens or whatever, and then get, whatever eggs you need, just to kind of, get your money back fast. However, things take a different turn when Glow shows up for the first... No, she showed up in episode 2, Adjust Your Crown Cyst, if I remember correctly. But essentially, Glow shows up because she wanted to mention... she wanted to investigate something, because apparently a neighbor complained about exotic noises coming from another neighbor's house. They had a bunch of animals out there or something. So essentially, she had to fine them $500, and then her civic duty is to report them to the city, which led to a $5,000 fine. So think about it this way: because Curtis did not want to shell out $25 to $35 per carton of eggs at the grocery store, he's possibly looking at paying $5,500 if he gets caught with these chickens in his backyard, which I still blame Floyd, because if he would have just gotten the eggs, this wouldn't have happened. I did like his forward thinking, but no, in the long run, he was screwed. Now, what happened from there is the fact that Floyd has a plan. Hey, I'll distract Glow. I'll just, take her somewhere. How about you hold the chickens for now, and then once the eggs are laid, I'll come and get them and scoop them up, and you'll be good to go. And that leads to the end of the episode where he comes into the kitchen for Ella. Actually, Ella comes outside with Glow and mentions how, Curtis, I still don't have eggs. And I'm thinking, but didn't you go to the grocery store yourself and you said, I got my own money, I'll pay for the eggs, so don't worry about it? Okay. But he comes in with a basket of eggs, different shades of brown and some black eggs. And Ella's like, well, get this basket out of my face. So it would have been funny, though. I wish she would have cracked one of the eggs and like the yolk or whatever would have just been something like, ain't no way I can cook with this stuff. So we really didn't get as much from this story as I had hoped. So it wasn't the best. It was funny in some aspects, but it really didn't go as far as I wanted it to go. Now, the main storyline, we start off with the sneak peek. Janine and Malik are in the kitchen. Or not Malik, CJ are in the kitchen. Malik comes in basically describing how, Lisa being his assistant for the day didn't work out too well. Also, Lisa in that dress, my goodness. Oh, man. Black and white. It was giving me Cruella de Vil vibes, but in the best way possible. Black heels, too, set it off. But in any case, she was mad about, give me this, answer this phone call, yada, yada, yada. And then from there, Janine says, men, oh, you don't want to work with Mr. Payne. How about you work with me? We can show him, this girl magic, black girl magic over here. And, Janine, I think this is like the second time she's used that knife as a threat towards CJ. And it's like, yeah, never mind. Because he mentions how, you don't want to have your woman at work with you because, it'll just lead to never mind. So essentially, things go as well as you could expect because Jasmine is watching, her niece. And Lisa comes in because apparently she quit on Janine halfway through the day. And I'm thinking like, wow, how are you going to get work experience doing this? Now, truth be told, a similar thing happened to me. I was interning at an education center in my hometown. It's one of those community centers where, people go into classes, they want to learn computer skills, carpentry, pottery, arts, all sorts of things. And there are also classes where students from the high school could even go into and get, college credit. I did that myself when I was in high school. And I was like, an assistant to one of the, people who ran the place. Now, unbeknownst to me, this was like my first office job. I thought that if you worked 8 hours, that was it. See, cause if I remember correctly, I skipped lunch that day and I left an hour early. I'm like, yeah, I did my time. But apparently you cannot do that. I didn't get in trouble. They just said, oh yeah, just don't do that again. I'm like, all right. So, but that was that was the thing though. I did everything that was on my itinerary to do. Now, when it comes to Lisa, she just quit because it was too hard. And I'm just thinking, yeah, I don't want to say she's not going to get anywhere in life because that kind of office and that kind of job work environment is not for everybody. But at the same time, if you quit every time something gets too hard, then you're never going to succeed at anything. I mean, that's why Amanda, have nots reference. That's why Amanda's parents were so hard on her because she was constantly changing her college major. But the thing is, Lisa doesn't like being bossed around. But in actuality, I doubt, Malik or even Janine were very demanding. It's just that she didn't want to do all that work. I'm answering phones and getting paperwork and getting coffee. No. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. And I love how Jasmine met her at her level. What I mean by that is she spoke to Lisa about, hey, I understand that this isn't the kind of career you want. And you definitely seem more like the person who wants to work in a management position. And Lisa's like, yeah, but they want like 10 years experience and whatnot. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like people don't just get a job and are okay, Nepo bait. Okay, side note here. I don't know if I like the term Nepo baby. First of all, I am in no way, shape, or form a Nepo baby. But my thing is this. Isn't it the job of parents to create a state of living where their children can thrive or make it in life easier than they had growing up? And yeah, I know there is some, bias like, man, like this person got the job just because they're the son of the, CEO, or they're the son of the vice president, or this person got this acting job because, the director has a child who wants to act, that kind of thing. And yeah, I see there are people who are overlooked in circumstances like this, because sometimes, the person with the less skills or talent does get an opportunity that someone who trained for something didn't get to do. But at the same time, what's that saying? It's not about what you know, it's who you know. And yeah, sometimes people make it up the ladder quicker due to their bloodline or who they know, this, that, and the third. But in circumstances like Lisa, you could tell she instantly wants to be in a position where she can tell other people what to do, but she doesn't like being told what to do. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine a couple days ago, actually, because I was exhausted. Like I didn't feel like doing anything, whether it be eBay or YouTube related, and not to mention still trying to get this house together on the inside. And I just sat, and thought to myself, I'm like, man, yeah, I'm blessed because I was able to wake up this morning and fix breakfast for myself, just take my time and eat. I wasn't like, I got to scarf this food down so I can jump in my car and drive to this building to work for somebody for 8 hours with a lunch break and then come back home and, get myself together so I can clean up and get ready to do it again. No, I can work at my own pace. I can, go to the restroom without having to, have a time limit or whatever and tell somebody I'm off the clock for like a few minutes, or, somebody dictating when I can take lunch, how long is my lunch, and that. No, but at the same time, I think back to my other jobs. I haven't had that many jobs because I am 33 and I've been doing the YouTube thing for 7 years, but let's break it down. Went to school pre-K to 12th grade. The summer before I went to senior year of high school, I worked at Bojangles for a month. Yeah, only a month because number one, they were overstaffed. Like they hired way too many people. Like they literally hired so many people that there were workers who were just chilling, doing nothing, because the main manager, I think she was off for like a month because she had to go for like a conference or something like that down in Florida or something. And yeah, it was crazy. And I hated it because here I am working my ass off, yet you have workers who weren't doing anything. Then on top of that, I don't smoke. So I'm thinking like, man, it ain't right. Like people who smoke, they get like, multiple smoke breaks during the job. And here I am working, and they're making the same, if not more money than me. And I remember quitting because one of the managers, she went off on me because there was a customer who was waiting for some dirty rice. But the thing was, the person who should have been washing the dishes was on like their fourth smoke break of the shift. So I had to go in there, wash the pots in order to cook the dirty rice. And then she's going to yell at me. I'm like, nah, I'm good on this. So I remember, quitting after a month. Then when I was in college, 2 jobs I had. One was working at the warehouse where my mom makes flags at Ann and Flag Company. And I'm like, man, this ain't for me. Because I can do it. It's just that I was in an environment where I was working harder than the other workers. And it got to the point where they were, telling me not to work so hard because, you're making us look bad and this, that, and the third. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, nah, this, I'm cool on that. And then the other job I had, like I mentioned before, was at that education center. And I was doing good work. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I just hated, the tediousness of certain things, like working under other people and having to be a person to do a crap ton of stuff. It's just like, nah, I need to figure out some way of working for myself. And Lord, thank God I was able to do so. Then, of course, I worked 3 years in the call center, but you've heard my experiences on that. And yeah, I'm just like, okay, I got to do my own thing. So when I look at Lisa and I look at myself, I'm like, hey, at least I had those multiple experiences where I'm capable of performing those jobs. It's just that I know that kind of environment isn't for me, but I'm in my own lane where I can do as much work as I want and thrive from that. But when I look at Lisa, she just seems like a quitter. She doesn't want to see things through. And instead of just, looking at the job for what it is, she just sees it as people keep telling me what to do. And I think that attitude isn't really going to take her far, because I love how Jasmine, mentioned how, yeah, you definitely seem like someone who wants to be in a management role. But, first of all, you need to apologize to my mom because that wasn't cool. You just left in the middle of the day. And then, that was pretty cool. And then she even gives Lisa her bag that she eyeballed and said, oh, that looks nice. So from there, we go over to Janine and CJ, where Janine shows up and kisses CJ. Is like, what's that for? Oh, nothing. Yeah, it's her subtle way of saying that Oh, you know what? Okay, maybe Lisa wasn't as easy to work with as I thought. Maybe you and Malik were right. No, you just instantly jumping on the anti-man train. So Lisa and Jasmine come in just as Janine finds some clear heels and stockings in Jasmine's bag, assuming the worst. And then they ask Jasmine about it, and then essentially Jasmine plays it up like she really is on the pole. And it's like, oh no, I want y'all to keep our baby off the pole. It's like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So then they basically tell Lisa, like, hey, Lisa tells them like, oh no, it's mine. It's like, I'm not on the pole. I think she said that she has like those classes. That's actually a thing. Where people go to those pole dancing classes because apparently it's actually good in terms of like helping with endurance, stamina, that kind of thing. So it's like, you know, a stress relieving exercise. But she does apologize to Janine, and from there, you know, things kind of close out where Jasmine helps Lisa fix up her resume. And I thought it was a wholesome episode, and you could tell by the length of this review that I liked it because I actually had a lot to talk about. So with that being said, I did like the Jasmine and Lisa dynamic, and yeah, good stuff. So like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.